Hello and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about macro and really talk about what is more pleasing, a single macro shot or a focus stack where you take a bunch of images and you put them together using software to get much more depth of field. And I think a lot of times I kind of default to going to that focus stack and having that really deep depth of field that you can't just get with a single shot because depth of field is so shallow when you're doing macro photography. As I looked at the photos that I captured, one of the things I noticed is that there are times that actually that shallow depth of field I think is a little bit more pleasing. And so just going to show a couple of different photos that I took and then also show the process that I use to actually create the focus stack. So I'll be using a combination of Lightroom and Helicon Pro. Both of these applications are applications that I own. Nobody gave them to me or asked me to do a review, and it's certainly not a product review. By any means, it's really more just showing my process and the tools that I use for doing this. So let's take a look first at this photo of some M&Ms. And these are some mini M&Ms I just put down on a fleece blanket and did a little bit of lighting with them just to get a little bit of shadow detail in that. And I rather like this image here with the shallow depth of field because it really makes you look at that one M&M that's got the upside down M, which I think maybe kind of adds a little bit to the whole photo itself. The fact that that M&M is upside down, I really didn't place any of these things, in any kind of specific order or fashion other than to just make sure they were in a small enough grouping to fit nicely within the frame. To contrast that, here is the shot with the M&M's focus stacked. And so you can see now I've got the depth all the way through. And I like this shot too. But the other one I think just did a little bit better job of drawing the viewer in. Here's another shot of some pasta. And I played around arranging this different ways. And what you'll see with this one and the focus stack is I did do just a little bit of a different composition with the focus stack just because I wanted three ends going out. Now, in both cases, I didn't quite get the very end of the pasta sharp. I actually focused a little bit off, but I think that takes away too much from it. And in this one, I think I like both and for different reasons. I do like the one that's focus stacked mainly because of just the way things kind of blend together. I like the three ends of the pasta in there, which is why I did the recomposing. But the other one that's not stacked, I do like that shallow depth of field too, and the blurred background and how that all works together. So I think in this case, both are pretty successful. Now, in terms of how this works with Helicon Pro, unfortunately, at least I've never been able to figure out how to actually get it to plug into Lightroom. So you do have to go out and actually open the photos within Helicon Pro. So here we are in Helicon Pro, and one of the things I really like about this product is the fact that there are different rendering modes, and this is, I think, a big advantage over doing this in Photoshop that just has one, and quite frankly, I've never really gotten good results out of it. There's always some kind of strange artifacts and that pop up, or it just does just some strange things. So that's what actually drove me to start playing with some other software and how I came across Helicon Pro. So the different methods actually blend things in a slightly different way, and that could be pretty important. If we look at this one piece of pasta here, if I look at rendering method A, one of the things that you'll see when I select that is we do have this sort of halo that happened. And if we hover over these different ones, we see that it gives you a little bit of an explanation as to what it's looking for, how it all works. And that can be helpful, although really the best way to do it is to just go and try different ones. So method A, I tried varying the parameters a little bit. That really didn't make much of a difference. So you can see here, I still have the same sort of thing going on. I went to method B. That actually made things a little bit worse, I thought. With method A, it felt like if I needed to, I could actually go correct that in Photoshop. This one would be a little bit trickier. So I tried then method C. And this is where you can see that, a huge difference. So now those artifacts are gone. So that's part of the power of being able to use this. If I go back to the pasta that was in a group, we can look at that as well and see the subtle differences in this case. And one of the things that I liked about method A for this focus stack of the software is this area back in here. Also notice as I bring the cursor around, it actually shows me which image from the stack was used to create that one part. I don't know how useful that is, but it's kind of interesting that they do that. But I did kind of like this. If we look at the other ones, we'll see that it's not as nicely defined within the other ones. I'm not as big of a fan here of this one, or in the case of blending mode C, which worked the best with the others, you could see it's even softer, and I've got something going on up here that I don't really like. So in this case, method A worked the best. What I thought I would do is just show you quickly how the software works, and go back to this noodle again. I'm just going to change the parameters and just give it a little bit higher smoothing. I'm not quite sure what this is going to actually do or look like, but we'll go ahead and do that. And when you hit render, what it does is it actually goes through and starts to analyze and shows you actually what it's working on as it's going through. And each of the different methods goes about this just slightly differently, but I always thought it was kind of interesting to just watch the approach. And you can see, as the textures are being brought in, as the edges are coming in, what it's looking at and how it's pulling it together. Now, one thing to be aware of is it's really important that when you're creating your stack, that you are capturing it in a way that they are sequential. And what I mean by that is that you have either front to back or back to front in little slices. Most cameras today, certainly the cameras that I have, all have a feature inside them where you set the start point and then they will just start focusing deeper and deeper into the photo. In this case, using my Nikon Z7 II, I set it to 50 shots, so there's 50 photos here, and it used a depth of 2 in this case to go and correct them. And so it's kind of interesting looking at this version. Looks like going with a higher smoothing number. There is just a little bit maybe of blur or something, some kind of artifact right around the edge there. It could also have to do with the fact I didn't quite have that edge sharp, but that's basically what it looks like. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in the software, they do have a couple different license models. The version I have, I bought the lifetime license, but they also have a 1-year subscription. So if you just wanted to try it out, I have no idea what the price actually is. It's been a few years since I purchased it, but I do keep getting the updates in that, so that's pretty nice. And in fact, there was just something recently when I opened it up that it just did another update. So they're definitely keeping it up and going. You can probably also get a trial. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's like a 30-day trial or something like that as well. So give it a try and see if it's something that works for you. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a like. If you'd like to know about future videos, hit that subscribe button and enable the notifications so that you're notified when I put out something new. Thanks.